Hey friends, Jersey Joe, having fun in my own room on the Amtrak Silver Star. That's right, I scored my own bedroom here. I'm gonna give you a tour of the room, a tour of the train, and show you how I scored a deal. I recently spent a night on the Amtrak Silver Star in this full one-bedroom room, complete with shower, as I traveled down the coast to Tampa, Florida. Join me as I take you aboard train 91 heading south. Our trip begins at the new Moynihan Station in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Sleeping car passengers have access to Amtrak's Metropolitan Lounge, located one level above the main concourse. This new lounge is a major upgrade from the previous facility buried under Penn Station, and attendance serves free beverages, sandwiches, salads, and pastries. After 11 a.m., a bar also serves alcoholic drinks. The lounge features an elevated view of the action below and free Wi-Fi that is actually pretty good. I arrived an hour before our train was set for an 11 a.m. on-time departure, so I enjoyed a light salad and a cherry cola.
2154, you may now proceed to track 9.
The Metropolitan Lounge features ample seating, and they call your train and track before notifying the passengers below, giving you a few extra minutes to arrive at your platform early. It's a long walk down the platform to the assigned sleeping car. The Silver Star has extra cars added to take on the passengers from the Silver Meteor service. That is to be suspended through September 2022. Your car and room number will be assigned when booking your ticket. And we arrive at Room B. The full bedroom spans the entire car, minus a small sliver for the passenger hallway. Now, smaller roomettes are available for a smaller size that are half the size and do not have a private bathroom and shower. I'm told these are actually newer cars with the updated burgundy upholstery that were put into service about a year ago. The room features a large couch that pulls out into a bed at night and an upper level bunk. One thing that makes the bedroom different from a roomette: get your own toilet and shower. Yes, it's a toilet shower combo with both day and night lighting. Now this becomes an adventure and a problem a little bit later. Spoiler alert, it leaks. You'll be able to see that in a few minutes. Towels in both liquid and bar soap are provided, but not shampoo. Your own little medicine cabinet with tissues and cups. Trash. Another fold-up chair if you need it or not. Mirror. Hello. The ladder behind the fold-out chair is used to access the upper level bunk. There's also tons of upper level storage. I got room for bags and another bag where I picked up a few miscellaneous items. Complimentary water was waiting in the room, and this handy dandy fold-out table with wings. There are a million controls for the lights. A reading light and a room light for this part of the couch, and another one there. The folding portable chair, you get your own. Yes! A whole bunch of controls here for the sink light, room lights, more outlets, very important. Got an outlet above the couch/bed too. Your own thermostat that I can't get to work. It's a Honeywell. And the first set of climate controls by the couch/bed. It's a fan. One each by the window. And if I had a roommate upstairs, they got their own set of lights and climate control up there as well. And very important here in the bathroom, there's a call attendant button here too. Whoever designed this bathroom is smart. They put a cover over the toilet paper. Since you're actually in the shower too, it won't get wet. And more towels in the bathroom. And this is actually where the intercom for your room is located. And it actually works. You can also push this button to turn the intercom on and off. Don't want to hear the conductor? Push it. Look at the tiny closet. There's even a smoke detector. And one last feature, tons of these privacy curtains. One for the door, and one for each set of windows as well. You can completely black out this room and go to sleep. Here's a little tip. I brought a wet nap just to sanitize my table, the sink a little bit. It's always safer to know you clean the room yourself. I gotta compliment the Amtrak staff. After wiping down my room, this thing is clean. So as part of having a room on one of these trains, you get complimentary meals and one drink. Well, they just came by and took my order for lunch, which I'm actually gonna have in the cafe car. Let's take a look at the menu. Your lunch selections: short ribs, noodles, chicken, Atlantic salmon and shrimp, and baked ziti. That's what I picked. I had a little time before my scheduled lunch in the dining car, so I decided to freshen up.
This bathroom reminds me of the transporter room on Star Trek.
And then it was off to eat. Now, full kitchens have returned to routes in the western US, but in the east, the meals consist of heated airline-type meals that look worse than they taste. We'll review all my meals and breakfast in detail. This is the dining car. It's only available to overnight passengers. You pick up your order right there at the little cart. I gotta admit, the car does have a cool, classic look and could go back to full sit-down dining service pretty much at any time. And here's my selection, the pasta and meatballs that comes in a tin tray covered in Reynolds wrap. Amtrak cut back on their food during the COVID pandemic and is one of the top complaints by passengers, but the meal is free, just remember to tip. The pasta wasn't bad and the meatballs had some flavor too, with a nice little hint of cheese, but the dish was a little watery. It was kind of like something I would have picked up at my grocery store's frozen food section. I also got an adult cocktail as overnight passengers get one free drink on the house. Lunch also comes with a brownie dessert. Now during my meal, some other passengers did trickle into the car, but the attendant was taking many brown paper bags to deliver to the rooms and roomettes. Now that lunch is over, let's walk the train a bit. Down the hall from my room is a free coffee, water, and ice station. The water consists of bottled water that's also distributed to each room upon departure. At the end of the car is the communal shower for the roomettes. Ooh, they get a little frosted glass skylight. And behind that, I found the baggage car. I could only peek through the windows though, as there's no way to open that door. Now my lunch wasn't super filling, so I walked back to the cafe car to purchase a hamburger. All passengers have access to this area and there are additional tables anyone can use to eat or just to sit down and spread out. Note how the crew was enjoying a mega order of Popeye's delivery for their lunch.
I admit it, I like Amtrak cheeseburger.
The cafe car features deli sandwiches, salads, some hot foods like burgers, hot dogs, and pizza, along with snacks, soft drinks, and booze. Before I knew it, we were making our first stop in Washington, D.C., and what would become our first delay of the trip.
Hello, Washington. And by the way, you want to see more Amtrak fun? Check out my old-fashioned ride on the Acela from a few years ago down here to Washington Union Station. That's when Union Station actually had a packed shopping mall inside.
In DC, you can step off for about a half an hour as they add on a locomotive. You can walk around a bit or light up if you smoke, but the engine they gave us, well, it didn't work. And then they brought another engine, and whammy, that didn't work either. While they connect these engines, they kill the power, which means no air conditioning, no toilets, no nothing but lights and an intercom. Let me tell you, on this hot summer day, the trains got piping hot inside real quick.
Okay, we're stopped in DC because of mechanical delay. They have replaced both our engines, but long story short, the funny thing is, I can hear somebody a car away watching Family Feud.
It took them almost 2 hours to find and ready 2 more engines from inside the engine house, bring them out to our train, and connect them. Good thing I had some booze in my room, which you are only allowed to bring and consume on board if you're inside a room. I gotta hand to the crew though, they kept everybody informed during the super lengthy delay. We finally departed though, almost 3 hours behind schedule. As I made myself comfortable again in the room and shot a spin-off web show to this one, I tried in vain to connect to the Wi-Fi and it would never work. So frustrating. You would get to the Wi-Fi login screen but just wouldn't connect, and it would never connect through our entire 31-hour journey. Amtrak offers free Wi-Fi as an amenity, but maybe they shouldn't, well, when it doesn't work. Well, at least it didn't on my route.
Okay, so attendant just stopped by once again and asked what I want for dinner. Well, I picked up the card this time and I chose option number 1, the beef. Because beef, it's what's for dinner.
And right at 7 o'clock, dinner is brought to the room with 2 desserts.
For me here, microwave food, it's much better than lean cuisine.
I was worried about this one, but no, it's actually pretty good. Look at the little baby salad.
I was prepared to knock the food, especially reading all the bad reviews, but it's not bad. For a microwave meal, it's pretty good. Now, I can only imagine what it's like with a real chef in their kitchen. It's starting to get dark out. I'm done eating something. Soon they're going to turn the room into night mode. Make the bed, and I'll show you how that works.
It wasn't long until the attendant was back at my door asking what time I wanted the bed made. I chose 10:30 p.m. and he arrived at that time, so I stepped out as he folded down the couch, added on a mattress with some pre-made sheets. All I had to do was unwrap the blanket. Now, it is a tight fit to get to the sink with the bed down. I had to basically crawl across the bed. I couldn't imagine how tight this room would be if the upper bunk was down and another person. Now, the bed was surprisingly comfortable, but let's be clear, this is not a 5-star hotel with a thick mattress and superior sheets, but it worked. It's a step up from sleeping on your grandmother's couch and absolutely much better than sleeping in a chair back in coach.
You can actually sit in the bed and use the sink. A really tight fit. This is more than one person.
I switched the lights into blue night mode, which was a nice feature. Good night. See you in the morning. And yes, you can turn off the blue light. It was a little interesting sleeping on the trains that flew down the tracks. The whole noise of the train and the rails was soothing and not too distracting, but the rocking from side to side made it really, really tough to sleep. And then we hit something.
So the train was flying. We made great time. All of a sudden we came to a screeching halt in the middle of nowhere at about 6 o'clock in the morning because we hit a deer. Knocked a cable loose, knocked the power out.
Yes, it was another 2 hours we sat there. No power, once again heat increasing, but they were able to fix the train. And we were off again, now almost 6 hours behind schedule.
Oh, it is bumpy down south.
I think I got a total of maybe 3 hours of sleep that night, but it was time to get up and figure out that shower. It's not a nozzle, by the way, it's this little wand, but there was plenty of hot water. You just had to stand in front of the toilet.
Well, that was interesting, and note your bathroom will be wet for a little bit.
And to my surprise, the door doesn't seal all the way, and I soaked the carpet in half of the room. Make sure you don't store anything near that shower door. Also of note, the bathroom stayed totally soaking wet for hours after, so I'm really glad I showered in the morning. It's time for breakfast, and this one's served a little bit different. You have to go to the diner car and order and pick it up. Now, there are 3 choices: French toast, an omelet, or a cereal bar. I walked up to the attendant and said, "Hey, I'll take the French toast and bacon," and they had it ready immediately. You can either eat it in the cafe car or take it back to your room, which I did. You just have to make sure you order between 6 and 11 a.m. The bacon was surprisingly good, but the toast was pretty hard around the edges, but I did love that great light cinnamon flavor. After breakfast, I was done with the bed and I figured I'd help the attendant out, so I put it back into couch mode. I just hope I didn't break any union rules. Even though we were way behind, we still made another extended stop in Jacksonville, Florida. We were supposed to arrive in Tampa at 12:58 p.m., but we were still hours away. I've been on the train over 24 hours and I'm getting anxious to get to my destination. Suddenly, the room attendant was at my door asking if I wanted lunch since we were so far behind. He offered me the only meal left, chicken a la rosa.
The one good thing about being delayed, they brought me an extra meal.
The Silver Star was not stocked to offer additional lunch, and only passengers that were going to be on the train from Tampa or beyond were able to get, well, whatever was left.
This one is just okay. I like a Marie Callender's meal, the weakest of the choices so far. I will say this, the broccoli and tomatoes are actually kind of fresh. And the tomato sauce actually has like some flavor. It's not like they popped open a can. A little bit of spice, not bad.
And still, we made another extended stop in Orlando. After all the delays, I was certainly glad I had my own room and was able to bring an extra bag full of snacks and drinks, which I ended up definitely needing. Coach would have been fine for a shorter trip, but adding on 6 hours, I was ready to end my journey. And then finally, we made it to Tampa, which is an end stop, so the train has to stop, reverse direction, and slowly back into the station, testing everybody's patience. After I got off, train 91 continued on to its final destination, Miami. Okay, let me give you my Jersey Joe's final thoughts, like Jerry Springer's final thoughts on the whole thing. Number one, this is a really cool experience. Definitely a one-time only thing for me, though. It's cool to have your own bedroom, your own space, the shower, even though it's flooded here. It's cool to ride the rails and see the scenery, though, so that's a beautiful ride. Easier than dealing with the airport, no security, no real checks or anything. The only thing is, you gotta remember, Amtrak is more often late than they are on time. And that's, we had 2 big mechanical issues in this train. We're hours behind. There's always freight on the rails that'll get in the way too, so don't try to make any tight connections with Amtrak because you're gonna be behind more than you're on time. I ride Amtrak all the time. And speaking of that though, their employees are very happy, very friendly, very cool to talk to. They're very attentive, they're on it. Compared to airline employees, these people are really happy. I don't know what Amtrak is doing to keep them happy, but it seems to be working. Cost-wise though, you could take a cruise for about the same price. That is the one thing. Amtrak is a little expensive. If you go in the coach room area, that's fine, but when you start getting like the roomettes thing like this, you do have to pay a little bit more. Now there's a couple different ways you can knock that price down though. Number one, follow Amtrak on Twitter. They have flash sales all the time. Number two, go to amtrak.com. They have sales on there all the time, which is how I booked this trip. They'll be like, okay, down south this week, 50% off this trip. Or you want to ride to Pennsylvania, 50% off this week. So take advantage of that. That's how I booked this trip. And then 24 to 40 hours before you leave, they will give you an option to bid up on a better seat. You can go from coach to business, or like I had a roomette booked, but I bid a little bit more and got this room, not thinking that I would. And I did, and I saved more than half the cost of what this room would be. This room would be over, I think it's like $1,500. I didn't even spend half of that on this. So you can definitely knock those costs down if you just take advantage of the sales online. So a couple things to think about there. Food is pretty good too. It tastes better than it looks. You know, it's better than airline food. It's part of the experience though, and when you get a room like this and it helps knock down the cost a little bit, that also helps make it worth it. You know what else is worth it? When you click that like or subscribe button for all the fun here on the Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel. Travel, games, it's just relaxation, entertainment. Shut the real world out and have some fun with me each and every week. All right, Jersey Joe and Air Friend here, gonna wrap this up by saying I'll see you next time, I hope.